What up?
Hey.
What up?
Oh, man. What's up, Deric?
Hey, how you feeling? You feeling passionate?
I'm feeling light and whimsical. That's how I'm feeling after watching that movie. All right. So, I think, because we talked about this during this week, and I think it deserves to be said. This is the first episode that we did where we're like, ooh, we might offend some people.
Yeah.
And look, I get it, man. You could get offended by what we're saying. We understand that. And if you were, let me say that Passion of the Christ is not a bad movie. It's not. It really isn't. That being said.
What, Baba?
That was one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen. It was so soap opera-y. And, oh, man. What was the tagline for this movie? What was, what?
I think it was called Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. The only thing spilled more than Jesus' blood is Mel Gibson's cum. That's it was torture porn, man. That's what it was.
But you thought it was a good movie. Interesting.
I thought it was because it's like the story is interesting.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It is a good book. Story, like, it's some of the best stories in the world. And that's why the movie, I think, was ultimately disappointing, is because it's like, I don't know a lot about the stories. I wasn't raised in the faith, and, I tried reading the Bible, but it's heavy.
It's a heavy book.
It's also very thick, and I got to numbers, and they were just listing out numbers, and I was like, I can't. I'm sorry, but I don't care how many Hittites there are.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
and it's important. It comes back later.
Yeah, does it? Do you get a test in the middle of it?
Yeah. Well, also, you don't want to get to John and be like, I don't know how many Hittites.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah,
I don't know if this number's a lot or a little.
Exactly. You don't want to be confused.
But it would have been cool to see the whole story between him and Judas, what that relationship was.
Yeah,
yeah.
That would
and
be
to see Judas as an actual person instead of this just whiny little bitch.
Yeah. Or how the actual dinner went down.
Oh yeah.
Maybe show the whole dinner. Stop showing it in random weird clips.
Well, the flashbacks are kind of weird.
They were so weird, dude.
One flashback that was really well done, I thought. The one flashback that I like is that it was wordless. No one said anything. And it was the flashback of him saving Mary.
Yeah,
and it was he who cast the first he who sinned or whatever.
Yeah,
he who has never sinned cast the first stone.
Stone.
And he draws a line in the sand and everyone drops their rocks.
Yeah.
That was really well done. I was like, oh, I know that story. It took me a second to figure it out. I was like, I
forgot until you just brought up, but that is that story.
Yeah, that's a very good story. And I think that's what this whole thing was missing, is all these stories could actually be interesting. You could make them movies.
But first we got to get back to beating the shit out of this nigga.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
But first, let us beat his ass for an hour and a half.
Insane amounts of beating. After a while, I was like, oh my God. That's all this is gonna be. It took me, you told me, yeah. I knew.
And I couldn't explain it as much as or else I'd have just been sitting here going, so they hit him.
Yeah, and while I was watching, I was like, oh my God. That's all this is. It's crazy. You think it's gonna stop, it never stops. And there's no way he survives past the first one.
Nope, it's over.
Yeah.
It's right after when they flip him like a pancake, he dies right then.
Yeah.
That's when he dies. God. That's when Jesus dies.
There's
no cool chains in the world.
Seeing all the blood on the ground after that, and then her and Mary and his mother wiping it up, I was like, ugh. That was the one point I had to pause for a little bit, and I'd be like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gore.
The idea that they would beat him that badly, and then he would have to CrossFit his way up a mountain.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
CrossFit his way. He basically had to flip a bunch of tires. It's pretty much what he had to do. He had to carry a
Hey, what'd you think of the scene where the guy's like, come on, Jesus, one more set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Jesus.
You got this, bro.
Push.
You got this, bro.
Knees up.
High knees, baby. High knees.
Yo, he was encouraged. That was just, I was like, yo, come on, man. Come on, Jesus.
You could do it. I just why, I would like to know the story of why everyone turned on him. Because they welcomed him.
Oh, the when he comes in on donkeys.
Yeah.
Explore that scene more.
I think, and this is the problem, I think, with a lot of Christian geared entertainment like this. It's like, or Bible, not even Christian geared, Bible stories, is that they make everyone seem like everyone's like clean and very holy.
Holier than thou, bro.
Yeah.
That's why every Bible movie sucks, because they never make it a real person.
Yeah.
Make him a real person.
Make him a real person.
Make
Don't-
everybody real people.
Don't make him a 6 foot tall white guy in the Middle East.
With beautiful green eyes.
Oh my God. Just gorgeous eyes. There's no way Jesus was good looking.
No, they say he was, I forgot the word. He was cumbersome. That's the word.
Yeah.
Which is not handsome. Or
Yeah,
some
if
shit.
he was good looking, do you think he'd be the son of God? No, he would just be busy being good looking. You don't have to, son of God, some ugly person shit.
I believed he was ripped.
You thought Jesus was, I think everyone
He's a
was ripped back
carpenter.
then.
He was a carpenter. He worked outside with his hands. I believe he was in good shape.
No one got obese but rich people back then.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a rich guy.
And I'm not saying he was jacked,
Yeah.
but I do believe Jesus was fit.
Yeah.
I believe Jesus could whip that ass if need be,
Yeah.
but he just didn't.
No. Well, that was against his thing.
Yeah.
I
believe Jesus looked like Ray Allen. Like not
You know what?
big guy, but like a good-sized guy.
You're probably right. Jesus, and especially in terms of skin tone
Yeah.
and ability to make 3-pointers, Jesus is very Ray Allen-like.
Oh yeah. That was a He Got Game reference for all you people out there. I know you don't get it, but it's
No.
okay. You will later.
All right. Hey, whatever happens to Joseph?
The dad?
Yeah. Whatever happens to him? He's never in any of the end stories.
He leaves. His wife is a cheater.
Oh, that makes sense.
She fucked God. Was he supposed to stay with her?
I actually never know. He just leaves.
I don't know. I think he stays around. No, he stays around.
He stays around? Where is he at the end? Is he dead?
No, he just sees him every other weekend or something.
Oh, okay. It's like a custody thing. That makes sense.
Honestly, it's crazy. I know a lot about the Bible. I don't know. I'm sure people will know and are very upset. But we don't know. I'm sure you let us know. Tell us.
Yeah, please. Actually, I'm very curious. What happens to Joseph? I will say this: when the temple breaks at the end, I was like, "Yeah, fucking take it."
Take that shit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All their stupid hats.
Yeah. Oh, I hated them. I hated them.
Why they all sound like that? You ever notice they all kind of had that vibe? Like they were all doing that the whole movie.
What's the thing? Every single person was a caricature.
Yeah.
Even the gay king was a caricature. It's like you couldn't just make a normal gay dude.
And what about that bullshit ass devil?
Bro, the devil. The devil. I don't know why, dude. Everyone in the world is afraid of the devil, and the devil is the most pussy ass, weak ass, bullshit motherfucking villain.
Be afraid of the Joker, nigga. That nigga is chaos.
Yeah, that guy can actually do stuff,
and he doesn't care.
No,
Seen him burn money.
Yeah, the entire time the devil was trying to get Jesus not to die, and your game plan is to just ask Jesus not to die.
Hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look at this old baby. What about now?
Look how creepy this old baby is.
Yeah, you want to live to figure out what the fuck happened here, right?
Don't you want to see Benjamin Button?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean you're not gonna take over the body of one of the Pharisees and be like, hey, we shouldn't do this? You're not gonna do anything?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna try to convince him and at the end scream into nothingness? Yeah! That's all he did. It's like, Jesus.
No!
Yeah.
Yo, really? So wait, I gotta believe that the devil was in hell screaming, no? I'm supposed to, come on, Mel. Come on, dog.
Hey, how long did you think it took all these like white dudes to learn Aramaic?
They didn't. I think they all just learned their lines on their sheets and that's it. Like if you ask them anything else outside of it, they'd be like,
okay.
My name's John.
Yeah. Well, his name is Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah.
Jim.
It was.
And also, Mel, and I know you'll deny this for the rest of your life, but I know you hired him because you were like, his initials are JC. I know in your heart, you saw him on the fucking casting thing and you were like, because you're an idiot. Yeah. and I like you, I love you, but there's no way, bro. There's just, you saw that JC and you were like, it's just, come on, bro.
Also, another thing, since we're talking to you, Mel, specifically now at this point.
It's about Mel.
The whole vibe of the movie is kind of for you to get as an audience member to be like, man, these Jews suck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, during your whole movie, Jesus is forgiving the people for killing him. Now, do you understand the point of your movie? Because it really, really missed the mark in that sense.
Yo, but the whole movie.
The sense is supposed to be he died, but you're supposed to be like, it's okay. You forgive.
Yeah.
He died for your sins. I illegally streamed the movie and I was like, I'm part of the problem. I'm one of these whips right now.
You are.
I'm one of these sins.
God, bro. Give Mel your money.
He needs it.
I gave you my money, Mel.
Also, it is at the very end when he rises up. You do half expect him to put out some sunglasses and just a guitar riff.
Oh, yeah, bro. I really expected him to.
Yeah, like you really expect him.
Or Captain America's shield to come up. I expected some, like, come on, dog.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Where's he going? Wait a minute. So he rises up and he's like, perfect. Like, now off to fulfill my destiny.
Yeah, it's like he's off to go to the armory and get a gun and be like, they're gonna pay for what they did. That's how it feels.
Where's Bill? Like, yo, what is this movie, dog?
But
pretty good. Yeah. Actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny?
Not terrible.
Not the worst movie we've done.
No. Oh, no. I actually like this movie way better than I've liked other movies we've done.
So not bad.
If someone was like, what do you like better, this or Blade? I'd be like, actually, Passion of the Christ a little bit. I had to rate him.
Passion of the Christ, way more gory.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. But man, if there's any Christian directors out there, please, for like me, people like me who are curious, make fucking realistic Bible movies with real people.
Make them dark skinned.
Yes.
How they actually look.
Yo, and I tell you,
Black Panther it.
If you do that, man, the Bible cinematic universe would be off.
Yo, because you can go forever.
Yeah.
But you got to make them human.
Yeah.
You got to humanize Noah and Jesus.
Yeah.
And Moses. You got to make these. They're bad. There's no way they made human decisions, bro. Other than Jesus. But you got to somehow you can humanize the perfect person.
Yes.
I don't know how, but you got to find a way.
Find a way, man. You got to come on, BC. There's got to be a BCU out there. It's got to be big.
The BC universe.
The BCU got to be, Jesus will return in the resurrection. That's what you'll say. All right. Passion of the Christ, guys.
EA Sports.
Hey, what's up?
How you feeling, buddy?
I'm excited. It literally can't be as heavy as last week. So
welcome back. Well, you don't know that.
I do.
Ehsan Ahmad?
I definitely do. What?
What happens in the movie Small Soldiers?
Oh, what? Yo, that threw me for a loop. Okay. Shit. So, this is not an animated movie. No, it's about a group of toy soldier kid, like miniature, action figures come to life, right? So, right, you're not gonna tell me. So, yes, it's action figures come to life by some magic. And
By some magic.
Kind of magic. And really, they're helping this kid cope with moving. That's what they're helping. That's what they're doing. This kid moved, and he's having a hard time dealing with it.
Oh,
and
man. It's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
New friends.
These soldiers come to life. You know what? No, not moving. We're going to go I'm going to switch. I'm going to pivot to bullying.
Ooh, you made them scarier.
Yeah, because I was just doing Inside Out, and I was like, I got to change it up a little bit.
So he's getting bullied. So these soldiers are helping him deal with the bullying.
Yes.
Cool.
It's an allegory, obviously. They're not taking on other humans. There are other evil magical toys that are trying to harm the kid, and they are trying to protect him.
So while teaching him life lessons, they're also protecting him.
No, it's not like they're teaching him life lessons.
Oh, okay.
It's the life lesson of him dealing with bullying is shown via magical fighting toys. He learns how to, like, the main toy learns how to finds his voice or whatever. The sergeant,
Oh.
Or I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point.
Very Platoon kind of movie, I guess.
I guess don't know what Platoon is. So yeah, man.
So what after the bullet? How does it resolve?
How does it resolve? Well, there's fighting. There's a bunch of pew, a lot of fighting, a lot of pews.
Like the toys are fighting?
Yeah, the toys are fighting the other toys.
Is the boy fighting?
No. He's just there. He's not a main character. It's like Andy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't. Oh, it's like a toy.
It's really, yeah, it's like Toy Story. God, it's fucking idiot.
Okay. My bad.
Fucking dumbass over here.
So,
So it's like there's probably like a group of toys, like a group of like 5, and one of them's like the sergeant dude,
yeah.
and he's leading the fight, and he's bullheaded and doesn't listen to his young guys. But one of the young guys splits off from him and joins the bad toys, and that's the fight.
Oh, wow.
That's the big fight at the end. It's him versus his protege.
And they win?
Yes, he wins, but his team is decimated.
Oh.
There's like 1 or 2 people left.
So that's how it ends?
No, and then I don't know. Somehow the kid learns about bullying.
So that's how it is.
That's how it ends. It's positive.
Dude, that's a good movie.
No, it's not. Don't patronize me.
I liked it. It's way different than the movie I'm going to tell you, for sure.
I can't even begin to imagine
But I like what you said.
what the fuck Small Soldiers was about. I can't even.
Do you remember when this came out?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember this being one of the, there's plenty of movies growing up that I wanted to see that my parents wouldn't allow me to. Men in Black was one of them, and Small Soldiers was another one.
Wow. What are two? What? Whoa. Ahmad's. Okay. The movie starts with just a snare drum, like that war, like that kind of, like a war snare drum.
Okay.
And then it shows like a cool triangle logo. And then lasers hit it.
Oh, yes. Yes. All right. This is already better than I imagined. Yeah.
And they carve out the words. Like they carve out the two action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And then Small Soldiers.
All right. I'm ready.
With lasers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know where this movie is kind of at mentally now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So start with a Global Tech commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commercial, right? And it's a lady going like, introducing battle products into your home. I'm not playing, dog.
All right.
I'm not playing. Using what the military uses, but in your daily life. And it shows like a woman like vacuuming with like a warhead. And it's just like, it's a company who uses military grade stuff
for everyday
products.
Right. What could go wrong?
Right?
What could go wrong?
So now because remember you said magic?
Yeah.
Pretty much magic.
That's basically magic. Just the magic of idiocy. That's what that is.
Yeah, so there's a company who puts military grade products.
Who puts stuff used to kill people in your home.
All
right.
Okay?
All right. I'm on board. I have to be.
So the cool army music keeps playing while it shows Heartland Play Systems at Global Tech. Like that's the big company.
Right.
And then a helicopter like is landing. And then it cuts into like the window of one of the offices, and we meet one of the main characters, David Cross.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's freaking out. He's like, "Oh my God, the big boss is early. He's not supposed to be here this early. My God." And then his partner runs in, Jay Moore.
Okay.
By the way, this is gonna happen the whole movie.
Oh, it's people whose cars I've parked?
Yes.
Okay.
This was a way bigger movie than I remembered when I watched it today. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Good Lord, Jay Moore, good dude. You tip. So,
Jay Moore he busts in, and David Cross is complaining about how the big boss, he only cares about profits, and he's not even in this for the toys, and how he's a toy maker, and that's what what he does. He loves to make toys and shit. And then the helicopter lands. And we meet Mr. Mars. That's the big boss's name, Mr. Mars.
Yeah.
His beautiful assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mr. Mars is nobody I know.
It's a white woman. We'll get there.
Okay.
It's a white woman, and who's bragging about all the things he's accomplished, right? And how he's conquered all these industries, his titan of industry, and now he wants to conquer the toy industry.
Okay.
You met this guy.
I know how that works.
Yeah.
Where you conquer everything, and you're like, yeah, toys are next. That's a step up from everything.
From military grade weapons
to children's toys.
Yeah. So he wants to conquer everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she takes him into a big office room.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk in, and then David Cross is like, where is everyone else? And then we meet the big boss, and it's Dennis Leary.
Really?
So a guy busts into the suit and he goes,
Just doing Bill Hicks.
there is no one else, right? Yeah, he got busted in the suit and he just starts doing
Bill Hicks.
Madonna parties or whatever the fuck he yelled about.
Yeah.
And he throws his coat like on a chair to let the big boss, and he's like, there is no one else, you know? And he goes, 2 minutes after I leave this room, I won't even remember your names. He's just... And he's like, they tell him how they're the two guys who created Heartland.
At least that's honest.
That is honest.
Yeah, I forget names like the second people tell them to me.
Yeah, so...
And I'm
not pitching $1 million toys.
Yeah. All right, well, so go on.
He says how, he tells them how, like, hey, they tell him, like, hey, we made the Heartland's biggest toy. It was like some big red monster, and it brought in like more revenue than, they've ever seen. And he tells them he already knows that. That's why he, kept them on in the first place, and he's like, but show me what you got now. So David Cross starts nerding out about these new toys he's created, and they're called the Gorgonites, right? Mm-hmm. And they're these like monsters, and they're from this peaceful world. And here's their noble leader, Archer, and he shows them like the noble leader, and he says how they're from the planet Gorgon, and like they're all like kind of weird looking creatures, like monster creatures, right? And how to get back to their world, they have to learn all they can about our world. And then when he says that, the Dennis Leary guy goes, "Learn next."
I like this guy. I like this Leary guy.
Yeah. So Jay Moore goes, all right, my turn. He goes, Mr. Mars, allow me to introduce you to Major Chip Hazard. And he unveils a thing, and it's like a kernel, right? Like a cool kernel in a thing.
And this is just a regular action figure size.
Yeah, regular action figure size, right? And he goes, this is Colonel Chip Hazard. No, this is Major Chip Hazard. And he's the leader of the Commando Elite, right? And he looks at the David Cross guy, and he goes, it's called Multimedia, Irwin. I don't know what that meant.
Okay.
I still don't know what that meant, but I saw that line and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dog?"
Okay, I'll try to figure it out. Yeah. That'll be my homework for this. Try to figure out what the fuck he's talking about.
He say? I don't know what that meant.
Okay.
He was just bragging, right?
Okay.
And then he plays he dims the light and he plays a commercial, and it shows the badass Colonel, like the Colonel Chip Hazard.
Yeah.
And the voice.
Beautiful name, by the way.
Beautiful name.
Amazing
Major
name.
Chip Hazard.
Amazing name for a
Chip
action
Hazard.
figure.
It's great.
Yeah. I can't believe no one's used that since.
Right?
Yeah. Just take that.
The voice of Chip Hazard.
Okay.
None other than Tommy Lee Jones.
No way! Oh my God, we get Tommy Lee Jones' voice again?
Starring in this movie.
Yes! Yes! I love Tommy Lee Jones' voice.
I know you do.
That's my favorite voice. Oh, I'm excited.
So he's like, Chip Hazard reporting for duty, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he asks, and then like it shows him, this is the commercial, right? And it shows him bust out the package, and he like kicks out the package, and he starts like kicking ass, and he's fighting in the commercial.
Right.
And then the Dennis Leary guy goes, can he do all this stuff? Can he do the stuff from the commercial? And then they're like, no. It's a toy.
Yeah.
He can't bust out and do all this stuff. And then Dennis Leary goes on some big speech about commercials are bullshit, and it's all bullshit, and how, what if these toys could walk? And what if they could talk? What if we make a toy that could kick ass? He says that.
Does he look into the camera?
Of course he does.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
man, this movie is
he goes, we're going
dope as hell.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Sam freaked out. She was like, I can't believe they made this. I was like, I know.
Yeah, I already can't believe, like, whoever wrote this.
What?
Way to sell. Because you sold whatever the fuck this is.
You got Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Post Men in Black.
Yeah, like Tommy Lee Jones still is like what, 99
yeah.
era? Yeah, so still like hot Tommy Lee Jones.
Crazy hot.
Whew, good job.
So it's a really good job. So they tell him like, what if we get a toy? He's like, we're gonna put a lifetime military battery in them. That way they never can turn off.
Why would you want that?
I don't know.
Why would you want something to kick your ass to always be turned on?
Yep. He said they'll run forever. And then Jay Moore goes, yeah, the slogan should be the Commando Elite. Anything else is just a toy. And then Dennis Leary goes, everything else is just a toy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. So David Cross immediately starts complaining, and he's like, I don't think this is a good idea. It seems a little intense.
Obviously.
It's a little crazy. And then they're like, shut up, you idiot.
Yeah, shut up, nerd.
You fucking nerd, of course. You what are you, a faggot pussy?
Yeah.
It's the 90s. And then they're like, Leary says how soldiers need enemies. He's like, oh, I know. He's like, the Gorgonite things. He's like, well, use your monsters, and they'll be the bad guys that the commandos can beat up on.
Oof.
You know,
Ooh,
and then David,
the peaceful people.
yeah, and then
Man, this is an allegory,
you
isn't
did
it?
not see this coming, did
Oh God, this is way deeper than actually. This is you know what? Mine was plenty deep, but this is way deeper.
you? Yours is a different deep.
Yeah, mine was a kids movie. I did not know this was not going to be a kids
Oh,
movie.
you didn't know this wasn't a kids movie?
No, it was action figures fighting, and I was 7.
Oh, bro, we're just getting started.
What?
We're just getting fucking started. Also, I like how in your story the soldiers were good guys.
Oh, I mean, they're so clearly bad guys. I mean, they're already so clearly bad guys.
Oh, you mean when I set up the peaceful things earlier?
Yeah. Yeah. I got that from this. I got that from listening.
So he's like, David Carl's like, please, this is not a good idea. You know, I created those toys to be peaceful. Like, please don't do this. And then the guy goes, who cares? This is and he walks out the room and he goes, he's like, what could go wrong? They're just toys.
But they're more than toys.
Well, now.
Now.
So,
well, the classic tempting fate line.
dude. So the next scene,
If you're gonna do something, if you're gonna do something new, everybody, don't tempt fate on your way out the door.
yeah,
Just
let it be
be quiet.
and hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Like a regular fucking person.
Yeah. All right, assholes.
So the white assistant lady is like telling him how they want the product ready in 3 months.
All right.
Of course, David Cross is like, 3 months? We can't do it in 3 months. And then Jay Moore's like, shut up. We'll get it done. You know, he's just trying to get money. You can tell he's he's in a
He's a
suit.
money guy, yeah.
And David Cross is like the weird artist guy,
Mhm.
you know? So she gives him secret passwords. She tells him, this is your secret passwords to get into all of Global Tech's military storage units, so you can use whatever you want to make the toys.
Mhm.
Here's your secret passwords. She said, read them, keep them to yourself. Don't say them out loud. They're just for you. So she hands them to him. They read them. And then David Cross goes, mine's Gizmo. And then she goes, you fucking idiot, right? And she takes it from him.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of looks, David, like the Jay Moore character looks at him and they walk off, right? So they go home. And then Jay Moore types in the computer, like gets to the computer, to the Global Tech system, like to make
The toy.
the toy.
But he types in Gizmo.
No.
Oh.
He can't remember his. And then he goes, Gizmo. So he types in the Gizmo one. So now he's under David Cross's, right? He orders. Also, by the way, he's on a computer, and what he types in is just like military grade chips. That's what he types in. It's just like a random search.
Okay.
And then like chips come up, and then he goes like, it's just like military grade chips, like all these different ones, right? And then he goes, even better. And then he's like, the best kind, right? And then
Yeah.
it narrows the search
Then
all
to
the way
one.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's the X1000.
Yeah. And it's just a military grade chip. No idea what it does.
They give you the vaguest idea of what.
Okay.
It's just an X1000 chip.
So again, magic.
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 It's the X1000.
Yeah, the X1000. You just put it in your toy and it makes it Tommy Lee Jones.
Yep. So he orders a gajillion of them, right? And it's just a state of the art chip. And then as he's ordering it, like they start making it shows like a montage of them making the company making the toys, right?
Right.
Like the gel and all
Ooh,
the cool
montage.
shit. Yeah. And the credits roll.
Oh shit.
This is the beginning. The movie now. Now the movie's starting, by the way.
Okay.
We haven't met any of the main characters yet. You don't even know.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
Okay.
the credits are now rolling as they make the toys. You see it making the main characters, the Chip Hazard characters, the Gorgon characters, you know. They're making them. And then, you know, small soldiers, right? Again.
Yeah.
They let you know again, the second time you're seeing this movie.
In case you were confused, in case you're like, wow, Toy Story 2 is very different.
You might have been confused.
Mm.
So then they package them all up. They send them all off. That's how the movie starts. So they're sending off all the toys.
Right.
We meet our lead, a young white boy on a bike.
Okay.
You always notice that our movie starts with a young white guy on a bike, like a young teen.
It's a good
So
amount of movies start like that.
He's riding a bike in a small town.
Suburb.
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
Sunny.
Yeah.
Ring. A lot of.
He is the only not famous person in this movie.
Makes sense.
The only not famous person in this movie.
Okay.
And he's the lead.
Okay. Makes sense.
So you can imagine he's a pretty good actor.
Yes.
You remember the movie 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if it was the same kid?
It might, no bullshit, it might be.
Oh god, did
not
they
even
have
playing.
a weak ass Boston accent?
So
All right.
he pulls up to a toy shop for work. That's where he works, right?
Mhm.
And a couple kids are walking by and they're saying how they don't want to go in there because all the toys in there suck. They're all lame and there's nothing good in there, right? And then
Yeah.
he kind of looks at the kids and, and then he walks in.
How old is he, by the way?
young teen.
Okay, so a
Young-
little old to
13,
be buying
maybe
toys.
15. He works there.
Oh, he works there. Okay.
No, the kids are walking by saying this.
Oh, okay.
He
okay.
works there. So he's
Okay.
pulling in for work, right?
Mhm.
He gets there. As he gets there, a truck driver pulls in, right? And he's cool with the truck driver, like a dude named Joe. And you can tell they're friends. They're like talking to each other.
Right.
And then he asks if his dad's there, and he says, "Oh, my dad's not here. I'm running the shop right now." And then the truck driver's like, "Oh, I can't believe your dad left you in charge." And he's like, "Oh, I can handle things too. I'm a big guy. You know what I mean?" He's like, "My dad went off. He's off to some small business meeting." Like seminar, like for training. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? For small businessmen.
Okay.
So they're emptying the truck, getting all the toys out, and then he notices a cool box. He's like, "Yo, what's that?"
It's a cool box.
You know when a box is different, it's cooler.
Yeah. I know.
It said like caution on it. Or some shit.
Dude, I worked at UPS. I know what a cool box.
So
looks
you
like.
see a box that's like,
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to open this.
Oh yeah. Sometimes, man, when you're working there, you get package after package, but then sometimes a package will come and have like sunglasses on. It's like, oh shit, it's a cool box.
It's cool. Leather jacket on.
Yeah.
So the driver was like, I don't know. And then they pull it out and they open it up. They take it inside, and it's the Archer toy, the leader of the Gorgonites, right?
Okay.
Who, by the way, it's a big werewolf with a bow and arrow.
That's what the okay. And
That's what the leader of the Gorgonites is. Like the
Okay.
leader of the Commandos is Chip Hazard, or a commando soldier, like,
Right.
a regular. He looks exactly like you seen Avatar?
Yes. Okay.
He looks just like him, right?
Okay.
The main bad guy in that.
Mhm.
And then Archer is a werewolf,
But with a bow
but
and
like
arrow.
who looks like Robin Hood.
Okay.
Like that kind of dressed.
Okay. Really underutilizing his werewolf skills.
Kind of.
Werewolves,
I had this toy as a kid, by the way.
werewolves are generally not long distance creatures, but
It's generally not.
no. You had this toy?
I had this toy, my
That's
nigga.
funny.
And so they pull him out and they're looking at him, right? And they're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. And they're like, I think it's voice activated, right? And then they're like, halt, who goes there? And he goes, I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites. And it's exactly what my toy said. That's the reason I know this. I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
And he's British?
And he said it just like, I think so, nigga. I think
never.
so.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard of a British werewolf.
Really? I thought Homeboy's, no, he ain't a werewolf. He turns into a monster.
Who?
Dr. Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's a werewolf.
But that nigga British. So they're like, oh, they're freaking out. Like, oh, this is cool. It's like voice activated.
Harry Potter, British werewolf.
That's a British. Good job.
All right.
Boy. So they're freaking out. They brag about how they never, they're, oh man, you can never replace the battery. That's really cool. It's like, oh, this is a really cool toy.
Mhm.
And the kid talks him into giving him like a box for free. Like, hey, let me get a box for free. And he's like, oh, I can't do that, man. I might lose my job. What do? He's like, oh, come on, I'll sell them and I'll give you the money back by tomorrow. He's like, there's no way these things aren't going to sell immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, they're so cool. And he was like, come on, just let me do it. He's like, I can handle this. And he's like, what about your dad's policy? No war toys. He's like, don't worry about my dad. I can handle this. Just trust me. And then he's like, all right. And that's it. He just gives him
Yeah, he just caves into a little child.
caves into a kid.
As you do as a grown adult.
Yep. And so as he's walking out, right? As they're walking out to go get a box, you hear him saying like, hey man, be very careful about who you're selling to. These aren't supposed to be out for a month. I could lose my job. I could lose my house. I could lose my wife. You hear him saying all these things, right? Like in a voiceover. And as he's saying all these things, as he's saying this, the camera zooms in on the toys. And then they both kind of like raise their heads and look at each other. And then the camera like cuts. Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, right? Where is this going?
All right.
Right?
Let's start this fighting, man. That's what I want to see.
So they go and get the stuff, and the driver, he helps him move it all in, and then he leaves. And then as they're both leaving, Chip, like they freeze it, like the toys freeze. And then as they both leave, the Chip Hazard one pulls a gun on Archer, and he's like, freeze, like that. And then it cuts back to outside, and in walks a girl. We meet our lead girl for the first time, and it's Kirsten Dunst.
Really?
Mary fucking Jane.
Mary Jane's in this?
Mary Jane is in this motherfucking movie, dog.
Okay. So is she the love interest?
She's the love interest. She's the girl.
She's always the love interest.
Oh, yeah. So she comes in with a little brother, right, who's crying. He's like, oh, you said you were going to take me to Toy World. And she's like, shut up. She's like a big sister. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm taking you here, whatever. Go shopping, right?
Yeah.
And then she notices home Alan behind the counter. That's his name. And she's like, hey. She starts talking to him, right? And she says how like, hey, I know you. And he's like, oh, hi. And you can tell he's like all nervous.
Right.
And then she's like, we live behind each other. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. And she's like, yeah, I literally live like right behind your house, like like literally a fence. And he's like, oh, that's cool, And they're talking. And she's like, how come I never see you after school, Alan? And he's like, oh, I'm always working here. It's my dad's shop. And she's like, oh, okay. And then her brother, as they're talking, like her little brother wanders to the back. And then as he's wandering to the back, he sees Chip Hazard and the Archer character with a gun. And then the Chip Hazard's like, you Gorgonite scum, I will vaporize you. He's saying stuff like that to him, And then the little kid's like, cool, right? And then it shows the Tommy Lee Jones, like the Chip Hazard, he sees him, he's like, civilian, declare your allegiance, and then he shoots him in the head, but it's like a Nerf gun.
Okay.
So he hits him, and he's like, the little kid's like, oh, I gotta have it. You know what I mean? He freaks out. And then he rushes back in. He's yelling at his sister, like, I want the soldier. And she's like, I want Major Chip Hazard. And she's like, oh, Mom's never going to let you have that. You can't have that. And she's like, yeah, but Mom let you have all those Gwendy dolls. And she's just, shut up, you little brat. And like, he looks at her like, oh, you have dolls? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, we're like old.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're definitely too old for dolls.
Definitely too old for dolls.
Yeah.
And so they run out the store and she yells back at Alan. She's like, save me one. I'll come back tomorrow and buy it. Okay. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then as she goes outside, a cool guy on a motorcycle pulls up. He takes off his motorcycle helmet and then he kisses her. And then he watches like sadly.
Okay.
Behind the desk.
That's funny.
Yeah, you're not seeing any of these storylines coming, are you?
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening?
I told you the whole movie.
What drug? What drug is this?
I don't know.
What drug is this?
Dude, I watched it. I don't know.
What drug do you go, war? Like what? I don't,
toy war.
Yeah, it has to, this has to be cocaine.
In LSD, maybe? If you mix them?
I don't know. This doesn't seem like trippy as much as it seems like propaganda.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
Just hang on. You haven't met all the Gorgonites, bro. You're still in the soldiers.
All right. So she kisses the guy on the motorcycle. She kisses the Fonz.
And he starts like. He starts like they show back inside Alan. He starts setting up all the soldiers, like setting up like for the shop.
Right.
And then he looks over and he realizes his dad left his plane ticket. He's like, oh, and so he grabs it and he rushes home.
Right.
Leaving
the toys
there alone.
Oh God, here we go.
So we meet the dad, right? The dad, and he's packing up. And the dad is, you seen Transformers?
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf?
Yes.
The same dad.
Oh.
And he's playing the same role, my nigga. He's the exact same dad.
Oh, he's on double dad duty?
He's double dad dutying, man.
Oh,
and it's
Jesus.
just the character.
Triple D's, baby.
The style of dad is
He's
the
just
same.
been typecast into this kind of dad.
This kind of dad, bro.
Yeah, this kind of dad.
So
he's kind of bumbling.
And also we meet, so he's talking to his wife and they're packing up and he's like arguing, like trying to get everything ready. Mm-hmm. And we meet Kirsten Dunst's dad, who's on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
Now, I forgot his name, but famous white dude on SNL who's died. His wife killed him.
Phil Hartman?
That nigga. Real funny. He's real funny.
Yeah, Phil Hartman's amazing.
He's the comedy relief in this movie. He's the actual, like, funny. Like, he's funny in this. He's legitimately.
He's funny in everything, but Jesus
so
Christ.
The cast is amazing. I told you.
What the hell?
We're not done, by the way.
Oh, my God. Okay, so Phil Hartman's in this.
Phil Hartman's Kirsten Dunst's dad.
Okay, watch News Radio.
Transformers. Guys. Yeah, Transformers is what's his name, dad. Mm-hmm. All right? So, outside the Phil Hartman dude, he's setting up like a satellite dish.
Yeah. Right?
He's trying to set up this satellite dish. And the tree of the Transformers dad dude is like blocking the dish, right?
Right.
So he's like, all right, well, I have an idea. And so in the next scene, he's like just chopping it down. He's just, the tree is clearly on their side of the fence.
Yeah, he's just chopping
chopping it down. Yeah. And so he comes out, the Transformer dad comes out, he's like, yo, what the hell are you doing, man? And then the Phil Hartman character is so nice. He's like, oh, hey, Stu.
From his yard.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, just got this nice satellite. You got to come check this thing out. He's like, this tree, though, is kind of in the way. You don't mind, right? And he's like, yeah, I do mind, Phil. This is my tree. Why are you cutting it down?
There's no way his name is actually Phil.
Huh?
Is his name actually Phil?
His name's Phil.
Oh, that's funny.
His name's Phil in the movie.
That's funny.
You brought up that his name was Phil Hartman, and I was like, oh, his name was Phil.
All right, you didn't know who he was. You're right.
I forgot.
All right.
I knew who he was, I just didn't know his name.
Yeah.
So he's like, he goes, this is my tree. And he goes, don't worry, Stu, I'm happy to do the work. I just like, how he said it killed me. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry, Stu, I'm happy to do it. Like that was
like
the
he's
problem.
helping you out, yeah.
And he's like, God, and he starts yelling, and then the wife calms him down, like, cause like, you know, like get in that, you have a plane to catch, get in the house, and he's like yelling as he gets in the house, and then it shows Phil Hartman because he has the chainsaw off, and he goes, and he cuts it, like he like looks around, like it's like, oh, you're funny, you're a funny person.
That's funny. Is the wife someone I'd recognize?
Yes, but not like famous like the other people, but you've seen her or something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he rushes up to his dad as their dad's about to like get in his car and leave. Then he's pulling up on his bike, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? You know, son, what about the store?" He's like, "Dad, you forgot this." And then he goes, "Oh my God, son, thank you. Oh my God, hey, you know, way to stay heads up, buddy." And he goes, then the kid goes, "Yeah, every once in a while I do something right." And the dad drives off.
And then we cut back to the store.
No.
Oh.
Then the mom starts questioning him, like, "Hey, did you lock up? Did you empty the cash register? Did you do all these things?" He's like, yes. And then finally he gets mad, and he's like, "It's possible I can make it through an entire day without messing something up." He's like, "God!" And then he storms off.
Yeah, he just has a bitch fit.
He runs upstairs, and he throws his bag down, and then he turns around, and his bag starts moving.
Yeah.
And he's like, freaks. He's like, "Oh, what the hell?" And he opens the bag, and Archer's inside.
Archer. Oh, shit.
Leader of the Gorgonites.
Does he keep saying that, or is that just something you're doing?
No, that's his line.
Fuck, yes.
And that was the toy line. So he's like, that's what when you push him, that's what he said. So he's like, "How the hell did you get in here?" You know? And then Archer starts saying, "Beware, there will be no mercy. Beware, there will be no mercy." Just keep saying it, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "What does that mean?" And then and then Archer goes, the toy goes, "What is your name?" And then he goes, "Alan." But shut up. He goes, "Alan, shut up now. I have to do my homework." And he throws him.
Right.
After the toy asked him,
what his name is.
What is your name?
Yeah. Yeah, like that's so, yeah, these toys do this.
And he throws it, and then you hear the toy go, "Greetings, Alan, shut up now." And then he goes, "What did you say?" And then Archer doesn't say anything. He gets close, and he's like, "What did you just say?" You know? And then Archer says nothing. Then it cuts back to the store, okay?
I like how the name part didn't get him, but then the repeating part.
That got him.
Even though that's something that could totally happen in a toy, just like a playback function.
But the whole, "What is your name?"
Yeah. The fact that this toy is moving in a very sentient-like manner should really freak
That
him
would have
out.
got me. That would have got me.
Yeah.
That would have mostly got me.
Yeah.
So back to the store, the soldiers are waking up, right? And it's just like the commercial. The Chip Hazard character, he busts through the motherfucking plastic, right?
Yeah.
And they show and he jumps down, and they show his vision, like how he sees, and it's like Terminator. It's like, and it's like he sees like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like threat assessment.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So he's looking around, and then he calls the other commandos. He's like, "Commandos," you know? And then they all start busting out their packages, and they look like just a classic Vietnam photo.
Right.
Like just all those kind of style of soldiers. Like a big black guy was the sniper. They had a demolition guy who has all the stuff. They had a skinny comms guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A crazy guy with all the artillery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just all the versions of a ragtag Vietnam team.
Yeah.
You know?
Of a heist team almost, like a Vietnam heist team.
A Vietnam heist team, pretty much, you know? And so he says how they will, you know, they're going to find all the Gorgonites and destroy them, you know, and show them no mercy, you know? And he walks over to the computer. I mean, he's like how they're going to show him no mercy and how they're going to destroy him.
Right.
Like they're going to destroy all the Gorgonites, right? And then it cuts back to Archer, and he's watching Alan sleep. He's just watching him. And then he walks over to the computer, and he starts like learning about us. He starts like clicking through. You know that montages in movies of like a thing, and then they show the screen. And but he's going at a rate that's like you can't even retain that.
And you're looking at his face, and you can see the images change on the screen.
Exactly. But it's a toy, and he's like,
and he's just taking in all the information.
He's taking in like war and like like Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, and the pyramids.
The pyramids.
Bop it.
And he's like, but it's a toy.
Yeah. All right. So this Archer guy still has a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
A werewolf with a bow and arrow.
You know? So eventually it shows like a beautiful sea, like a forest and a beautiful sea. Mm-hmm. And he stops and he goes, oh, Gorgon. Right? And then right then a cat walks in, and the cat jumps up on him, and he sees the cat, and the cat just starts licking him, and the toy starts smiling and like petting him. Mm-hmm. And then Alan wakes up and he's like, what are you doing? You know, who are you? Like freaking out, right?
Why would you just throw the motherfucker out? What the fuck is wrong with you? I would immediately, if I saw that, I would like, well, nope, I'm stepping on this toy and throwing it out.
Melting this toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell no.
He says greetings again. Like, greetings, Alan. Shut up now. Yeah, shut the fuck up now. Yeah. And then Alan's like, I think you're smarter than you're letting on. And then he doesn't say anything. And he's like, walk to the end of the table. And then Archer kind of looks at him. And he's like, don't play dumb now. Walk to the end of the table. And then the Archer character jumps down the table and like walks to the end of it.
Right.
You know, and he's like, he's freaking like, holy shit. And then he looks back at him and he goes, Alan, friend of Archer, defender of the Gorgonites, keeper of the Ankata, which was apparently like a search engine on his computer.
Microsoft Encarta. It was Wikipedia. I used to use that.
I didn't get that joke, but Sam got it.
Yeah, it was Wikipedia before Wikipedia. It was an online encyclopedia.
Yeah, so he goes, you were on my computer? If you got a virus, I'm going to kill you. Not freaking out that he was on his computer.
Yeah, what?
So the next scene...
You're on his computer? Hey, you better have minimized all the windows.
You mother piece of shit.
You better not have X'd out of anything.
You better not be porn.
Yeah, but it's cool that you're sentient. That's chill. That's
you
very chill.
Clearly have a soul. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I met one of you guys
Yeah.
with a soul. So the next scene, Chip Hazard is in front of like a big puzzle, like a puzzle, but it's like the American flag, and he's giving like a speech, like a war speech, right?
That's funny.
You know, and he's like saying shit like "To the victor go the spoils." You know, he's just talking shit, and he's like, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but that you only have one life to live." Like he's just mixing all these speeches together.
Yeah,
you know. And then he goes, and we're gonna search out all the Gorgonites and frag them all. And then they all chant, yeah! And then you hear like one of the Gorgonites, like the big dumb one, like one of the big dumb monsters. He goes, oh no! And then it pans back like out of the shop, and you just hear all hell, just Gorgonites come! Like just hear like, oh help us! You know what I mean? Like just like a full on war going on.
All right, and there's a bunch of Gorgonites there, or just one?
It was a bunch. It's like Gorgonites, and you got a bunch of commandos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So the next morning he walks in, and then of course he goes, I am in so much trouble. And then it pans back, and it's just wreck shop.
Really?
Obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Wreck shop. They wreck shop, right? And then Archer said it again, there will be no mercy. He keeps saying it. And he's like, and then he sets Archer down, and then he finds like all these blue pieces on the ground of like what this blue monster was.
Yeah.
And he's like, Archer goes, poor Troglodyte. Oh, poor Troglodyte. Right? And he goes, sorry, Archer, that's all I could find. And it's just like a couple, like just a fucked up toy. They clearly like fucked this toy up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And,
they murdered this toy.
They definitely murdered this toy. And then he goes, like, where are all the Gorgonites? He's like looking at Alan. He's like, where are all the Gorgonites? And then Alan's like, where are all the commandos? Right? And they're both looking around. And then right then, Kirsten Dunst comes in.
Ooh.
And he's like, hey, we're closed. And she's like, no, I just got to come in 1 second and get that toy that you said yesterday, the Chip Hazard guy. Can I have him?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm sorry. But I can't. We're closed. And she's like, what happened here? It's like, oh, we got broken into. Something stolen. And then she looks at him and she's like, are you running some kind of insurance scam? And then he goes, wow, I do one thing and I'm branded for life? Ah! And then she goes, so it is true.
You ran an insurance scam?
And she was like, I heard your parents had to move here because you got kicked out of 10 different schools. And he goes, that isn't true. It was 2. And she goes, only 2? And he goes, oh. And then she's like, do you need any help? Right? So then Archer asks, so they're cleaning up.
What a ridiculous backstory.
Dude.
I took that for a second because I was like, what's happening? But no, that's crazy. How is he 15 and he's running insurance scams?
He didn't. He just got kicked out of a bunch of high schools or middle schools.
Oh, okay.
She's asked that because that's why he said, I do one thing and I'm branded for life.
Okay, I thought you got caught running an insurance scam. I was like, what? You're
that
like
would have been way better.
Yeah.
As a 12-year-old?
That would have been impressive.
He's a genius.
Yeah, and also he should definitely not just be allowed outside without supervision.
Yeah. So they're cleaning up, and Archer's like goes, can I talk now? And then he goes, shut up. keeps telling him to shut up, right? Because he's trying to talk to the Kirsten Dunst girl,
Right.
and she's asking him if he likes like Family of Five, and then they bond over how they hate it, and then they bond over how awesome Led Zeppelin is, like a clear like, oh, well, look at us, we're falling in love kind of scene, right? As they're cleaning up, and then they're like, wow, I can't believe we finished that fast, and the place is all clean. And then she's like, "Wow!" And then he looks at her. He's like, "Wow, you even fixed the boat?" And there's this huge boat, like mast, like toy boat. She's like, "Yeah, but the mast was the hardest part. But like, I think I fixed it." And he's like, "Oh man, this is great." She's like, "Oh, you know." And then she goes, he starts telling her. They start talking again. He tells her the story of how he got in trouble, and it was he called in a bomb threat on Parents' Day at his school. Yeah, so he was just a troublemaker. And he says, but he's a different person now, and those days are behind him. He doesn't do stuff like that anymore. And then
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy that came up because I'm pretty sure one of my schools yesterday, one of the schools that I went to, I'm pretty sure it was my high school, got closed down because of a bomb threat.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird how it manifested itself in this movie.
Isn't life silly?
Isn't life whimsical? Bomb threats.
Back to small soldiers.
Yeah.
So she, right then as he's telling her this story, his dad busts in the store. And he's like, "Dad?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?" And he goes, I got home early from the airport. I thought I got home early. I got out early from the flight, and I thought I'd come check up.
The next day?
The next day. He's like, I thought I'd come, and then the kid like cuts him off his sentence. And he goes, "What, check up on me?" And he goes, "Yeah, check up on you. You're my son. I'm your father. That's how this works. It's a trade-off, And he starts like looking around and he goes, "What's this?" And he's like, "What's what?" And he comes up to the boat that they're standing by. And he's like, "What's this? What happened here?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. I was, cleaning it and I was dusting and something fell." And then right then, like the top part of the boat just goes, like cracks. And he goes, "You were dusting it with what? A croquet mallet?"
Ooh, lame joke.
Ba-boom, baby.
Good dad joke. Or a dad joke.
So he tells him,
a good one.
exactly. He tells him, "Just go home." He starts yelling at him, and he's like, "Oh, come, Dad, I promise I didn't do anything." He's like, "Just go home. I can't deal with you right now. I'll clean up I'll close up the shop today." And he's like, "Oh, fine." And him and Kirsten, they go outside. And then Kirsten tells him, like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Like, he could have noticed a lot more, so it's not that bad." And he goes, "Yeah." And then right then, the motorcycle guy pulls up, right? And
hey, the Fonz.
Yeah.
Hey, and he hits a jukebox.
Hits a jukebox, and he looks at the kid and he goes, "Hey." He's like, "Aren't you the kid who set his whole school on fire?" And then
That's a good bit.
Yeah,
I like this bit now.
And then the kid goes, "Yep, just to watch it burn." Without missing a beat. That's the only time he made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's a good line."
That's funny.
And
he delivered it well.
Yeah, and
Good for you, kid.
and then the guy goes, "Whatever." And then he goes, "Hey, babe, I got a scrimmage. You should come cheer me on." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "Bye, Alan." And he's like, "Bye." And then he kisses and he hands her a helmet and they scoot off.
Right.
They scooter away.
Oh, he's on a scooter?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's what? That's funny.
So it shows the dad inside and he's trying to fix the boat.
Right.
Right? But all his tools are gone. And he's like, "Where the hell are all my tools?" You know what I mean? He's like, "God damn it." And then it shows his son Archer like leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as Archer's like, it shows Alan leaving, and Archer's like trying to talk. He's like, "Alan, the Gorgonites, Alan," and he goes, "Shut up, like just shut up." And he closes the bag on him, and then you keep hearing Archer go, "But the Gorgonite," like that, right?
Right.
And he's driving. He gets on his bike to go home, and then they pan up, and in a tree, you see the comms toy soldier, like the comms guy, and he goes, "Found the leader of the Gorgonites, boss." With a civilian escort. And he goes, "That's fine. Don't fire till you see the white of his eyes." That's what Tommy Lee Jones says.
Yeah.
And then it pans over and it shows they made like a slingshot and they got one of the soldiers on it and they slingshot that nigga onto a moving bicycle.
Ha.
And he lassos himself on. And so now he's dragging this toy.
Right.
He doesn't notice it.
No.
Dragging a toy.
As he wouldn't.
As
Because
he
he
would.
wouldn't expect a toy to slingshot itself onto his bike.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't judge this guy. Deric, I felt it. Everyone felt it. No one's happy about it.
So he climbs up like towards the Gorgonite, right? And he's got the knife. He's got a knife, actual knife in his mouth. And he's climbing up, right, to kill him. But on the way up, he gets his foot caught in the chain, like the chain of the bike.
Yeah.
And he gets caught up and shot off.
Right.
And cut into a million pieces. You know what I mean? And so he grabs his radio and he goes, Rick Bazooka reporting. He's like, target escaped. I'm pretty messed up down here, boss. And then you hear Tommy Lee Jones, hold on, son. We're coming in. So they get to him and they're bandaging him up and you hear him screaming. Like at the top of his lungs. As they're like putting his legs back on and shit.
What the fuck is happening?
And he's just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yeah.
And then it shows Tommy Lee Jones and he's looking around with binoculars and then he notices the bike of the kid outside of the house, like on the yard. And he goes, well, it's a small world after all. That's the line.
It's a good line.
That was the line.
Good line.
So.
Is that what the tagline of the movie was?
Probably.
Should have been.
Probably was.
Right? I'd imagine.
So it's the next scene is a little boy on the phone, Alan, and he's like, and you hear a lady go, hello, Heartland Play Systems, how may I help you?
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I'm calling to complain about your toys. They break my shop. They're trying to kill me. Like they're trying to kill another toys. Like they're going crazy. And then the woman's just not helping him at all. And he's like, can I get transferred to a machine? And then the machine comes on. And he leaves like a crazy voicemail about how the toys are going nuts and they're trying to kill everybody and they should send someone over, right?
Right.
So he leaves that. Archer keeps trying to talk. He goes, Alan, the Gorgonites. And he goes, don't talk to me. Not a word. And then Archer's and he just doesn't say anything.
Right.
Right? So he kind of like, he goes and lays down. And then it cuts to Jay Moore is giving a speech, like a big function.
Right.
Right? And it's about how the Commando Elite are going to break all the sales records and you're not going to be able to cut a TV on without hearing about the Commando Elite. And it's going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. You know, these are going to be the biggest toys in the world.
Right. They're sentient toys, so he's right.
Yeah. And as that's going on, David Cross sneaks in and he like gets his ear and he's like, hey, you got to come check out this voicemail. And then he goes and he plays the voicemail for him. And he's like, he doesn't believe the kid. He's like, the kid's probably lying. You know, we're not going to stop the shipment. This is going to break records. And he's like, yeah, but what if the kid's not lying? What if these toys are going to like destroy everything? You know, what if they're dangerous? What are we going to do? And then he's like, well, everything is on. He's like, they can't be dangerous. Everything on them is standard. He goes, well, O. And he goes, what's the O? What O? David Cross is like, what's O? And then Jay Moore's like, well, O, you know, everything on them standard, but, and he goes, microchips. He's like, what chips? Like, that's the O. You put microchips in the toys, didn't you? And he's like, well, you know, I just had to save your job. That's what he said. He's like, I had to save your job. I had to do something to make sure these toys were a hit, you know? And he's like, well, they look it up. And he's like, well, where did you get them from? And then they get on the computer and they check it out. And he's like, you got them from the Department of Defense? And he looks at Jay Moore and he's like, you put munitions chips in toys? Apparently you shouldn't do that.
First of all, to call them munitions chips when they give sentient life to things is a bit of an undersell. Secondly, you're telling me the Department of Defense has the ability
to
bring machines to life. And instead, they just sell them to toy companies. They don't put them in their jets. They don't.
That's technically the premise of this movie.
All right. Okay. I love it. I love it.
Archer is in the room.
This is one of those suspend disbelief movies.
Oh, you
have to suspend all of it.
And he hears toys going, you know, beware, there will be no mercy. We are lost. Help us. We are looking for our homeland in Gorgon, you know? And he's, you know, shows his Terminator vision and it says a distress call from Gorgonites. So he walks down the hallway and then he opens the door and then, of course, big light shines on his eyes and it's the chip hazard. And he's like, gotcha, scum. You know what I mean? And they all jump on him.
Right.
You know? So Alan wakes up, right? And he's like, he hears toys just kind of talking and he goes downstairs and he hears somebody going, you know, we have ways of making you talk. And then he goes, we'll go easy on you if you cooperate. And then he goes, you're not going to say anything? Huh? Dispose of this garbage. And you hear a garbage disposal come on. And then Alan runs in. He goes, hey, what's going on? And he sees, and it's Archer tied up over the, like head first over the garbage disposal. They're about to behead him.
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
What?
And then they freak out, and then they look, they see him, and they go, human! And then he runs up on him, and then one of them like slices it because he tries to grab him, and they have like a slicer, and it slices his hand like real hard. And he grabs that one, he's like, you piece of shit! And he like cuts Archer down, and then he puts that one in the garbage disposal. And it just like electrocutes and freaks out, and the other one's like, the other commandos sneak out the window,
Right.
And then Alan's parents run down. They come downstairs like with a baseball bat, and they're like, what's going on down here? And then Alan's like, these toys are trying to kill me, blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to tell him like everything that's going on while the commando from the sink, like he sneaks out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it like he's yelling, and then it cuts to and like, and it's like I guess he just like, you know, where they cut to and like somebody gets done explaining.
Right.
He's like, I promise, that's everything. And he goes, okay, Alan. The dad's like, I appreciate you being honest, but where are my tools? Did you pawn off my tools? And he goes, no, the toys took them. And he's go, I'm trying not to get pissed off, Alan. I'm trying not to get goddamn pissed off. And he's like yelling and yelling and yelling. And he's like, no, I'm not lying. Look, Archer. And he pulls Archer down. He's like, Archer, show him. And then Archer doesn't say anything. And then the mom comes up and she goes, Alan, I hate to ask you this, but
Are you on drugs?
Are you on crank? That's what she says.
Crank?
Crank.
Crank?
He goes, no, not mom. I'm not on crank.
Isn't that Little John drink?
I think so.
Is that what they're trying to push?
98? No, not time yet.
Oh, you're right.
Not time for the Little
You're
John
right.
era
Not time for the crank pimp juice wars.
of 2001.
Of 2004, I think. Nelly versus Little John, baby. Crank versus pimp juice. Never had any of them, never will.
Never forget.
It was Rap's 9/11.
So, of course, and then he goes, no, mom, I'm not on drugs. And he storms off.
Right.
Right. And then, you know, the dad is like, Alan, I'm at a loss, you know, just like disappointed. Right. And then he goes to the bathroom, he takes Archer, and he's like, why didn't you have my back in there? And then Archer plays a recording of him telling him to shut up and not say anything. He's like, oh, what are you, a smart guy?
Yeah, right? You chose this moment, you fucking dick. Archer's a dick.
Yeah, Archer was a dick.
Archer's
But I
a
get Archer
dick.
being like, I fucking hate this kid.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Archer tells him like
Not saving the Gorgons.
right? Archer tells him though that the Gorgonites are still alive.
Gorgonites.
And he goes, how do you know? And he goes, he was torturing me trying to find where they are. And then Alan smiles like, we can find them. You know what I mean? So in the garage, it's Ship Hazard. And he's speaking of the boy, right? And he's talking to his commandos and he's telling them how he is the new enemy. He's big, he's fast, and he's aligned himself with Gorgonite scum, you know? And he goes, the rules of engagement have changed. And they look over the garage at all the hardware, and they're like, you know, and they all start like smiling and licking their lips, like, oh yeah, like we're gonna fucking build
Murder
some
this
shit.
child.
Yeah. And then just then the soldier from the disposal crawls in, and he crawls up to the captain and the major, and he's holding him, and he's like, it's just a flesh wound, sir. And he's like completely fucked up.
Yeah.
And he's like, shh, rest easy, soldier. You did your job. And then he dies, and then he goes, Nick Nitro's battery has run out, but his memory will live on. Commandos, we have a war to win. And they're all like, yeah. And then you hear them like going to work in the garage, like building an artillery.
Yeah. Jesus.
You know? He takes Archer back to the store, Alan, and he's like, you know, why are you guys hiding? Like, where are they? And he's like, you know, Gorgonites, we always hide. That's what we do. And he's like, well, why do you guys hide? And he's like, you know, we hide and we lose. It's a good life. Like, that's what we've been programmed to do. Hide and lose. Yeah. And he's like, all right, well, he's like, if I was the loser who always hid and always lose, like, you know, and I always lost, where would I hide? And then he throws something away and he's like, and then they go outside and they go start digging in the garbage. And of course, they like, one of the Gorgons, like, an eye one pops out. Yeah. Like the one with just like, that's just a big eyeball. Yeah. You know, kind of looking thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then they freak out.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I can picture it.
You can picture this thing.
Yeah.
You've seen this thing.
I get it. Sort of like the guy from Monsters Inc., but on like a thing that can pop up.
Yep.
All right.
So that, and then you got a big dumb one, and then the one who speaks fast like a late night talk show host.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, saying, hi. But he's talking like Jay Leno kind of. It's when you see, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's really weird.
It's really weird.
And he spins really fast. And then the toy that was torn to pieces, they had put him back together like Frankenstein. And so he just kind of like with a radio and all these things. He has a radio on him.
That's funny.
You know. And so like, and they're just all kind of really happy. It's like a happy moment. Right?
Hey, we found each other.
We found each other.
Yeah.
So Moore and Cross, they're going to this white lab where they make the chips.
Okay.
Okay. They go in and they're talking to this guy and they're saying how
So they're just able to just walk into the secret military facility.
they get into the secret military facility.
Yeah.
And
They're like, that's David Cross.
and I think you're somebody.
Yeah.
No offense, Jay. And they're like, the guy, a guy who makes the chips, like, hey, did it work? Did the X1000 work out better than you dreamed of? And the guy goes, no, it's actually like causing a lot of problems. We're getting complaints. And he goes, well, then it must be your software. And then David Cross goes, I don't think it's my software, Ralph. And he goes, the X1, and then he goes on like some big speech about how the X1000 is a perfect chip,
thing,
and there's no faults in it, and then they can do this and they can do that, and it must be your software, and how it's pretty much artificial intelligence, and how it enhances itself and gets smarter as it goes on. And then they're like, Jesus Christ, like it's all of this, and then they're like, the only
we should have researched this before putting it in toys for children,
right?
Yeah.
And they're saying how like the only reason the military didn't want it is because electronic waves, like electronic warheads, like that's the only thing that's like electronic pulses can knock it out,
Okay.
can stop it. And so that's why the military didn't want it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Even though that's a thing that most people aren't capable of doing.
True.
All right.
All
right.
Anyway.
All right. We'll take sentient life. It's not enough for sentient life, but
So the guy like is explaining all that to him, and so he tells him like, everything else is like, this is a perfect chip, and all it does is take whatever software you use and enhances it. So this is your guy's problem. And then they look at each other like, oh shit.
Yeah, this is fucked.
This is about to get really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So back at Alan's house, the Gorgonites are partying. They're in his room. They're turning up. They're watching wrestling on TV.
Yeah.
They're freaking out about all the shit in the room. They're just having a good time.
They're learning.
They're learning. Right then, Kirsten Dunst calls him, right? Christy is her name. And she's like, you grounded? And he's like, nah.
Christy, Phil, they didn't really go far for these names, did they?
Not even trying.
No.
He's like, nah, he cooled. My dad cooled off. And then she's like, and she's like, he's like, and by the way, I found all the toys. Thanks so much for your help earlier. I couldn't have did it without you. And then she's like, oh, no problem, And right then he asked her out on a date, and she's like, I don't know, Alan. I only date older guys. And then he's like, oh, okay. She's like, it's nothing personal. She's like, and also officially I'm dating Brad. And he goes, oh, but what about unofficially? She goes, well, unofficially I'm into this guy, but he's a bit of a troublemaker. And then he goes, well, I could change all that for you. And she goes, oh, Alan.
What does that mean?
Dude.
What does that mean? That's not even flirting. Those are just random sentences put next to each other that have been said while people have actually been flirting.
Yeah.
But it's like someone had like a flirt matrix and was like, okay, what do people say? And we'll just put them next to each other. It made no sense. That didn't track at all.
So a song starts playing.
Okay, of course.
Another one bites the dust.
Oh, okay. Do things go in slow-mo in the song?
No, it shows like them in the garage, all the toys, making crazy weapons while this song plays. Like weapons.
Like could murder people weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to see.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? I can 100% see why Tommy Lee Jones wanted to do this movie, though.
Yeah, I get it. Too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of funny.
It's very funny. It's so bizarre.
So the music's blasting. They're making all these weapons. And right then the comms guy, he comes in, right? And he's like, boss, I got something. And he plays, he's like, I think I found the human's weakness. And he plays the recording of what the conversation they were just having.
Yeah.
Because they tap their phones.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
And then he goes, Tommy Lee's like, soldiers, we have found our window of opportunity. We will exploit it. Move out, jarheads. And they're like, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good God.
This movie.
They're like so bad.
Yeah.
They're like extra Jesus.
So he's talking to the Alan's talking to the Gorgons, and he's telling them, you guys are safe if you stay in my room. Mm-hmm. And then they're pointing at the picture on the national park that Archer saw earlier, and they're like, Gorgon. And then he's like, no, that's just a national park. And they're like, no, that's Gorgon. And then he's like, no, then he's like, no, that's not Gorgon. And then Archer goes, well, if Gorgon's not in that window, is it in this window? And he points out an actual window. And he goes, no, that's just outside. And then they go, well, what about beyond that? And he goes, it's just trees. And they're like, beyond that. It's like power poles. And they're like, what about beyond that? And he goes, it's just the highway. And they're like, and beyond that? He has like 40,000 miles of just farm, acres of farm. And they go, oh, and beyond that? And he goes, I don't know. And then all the toys go, Gorgon. That made me laugh.
That's smart.
It was
good writing.
It's good writing, other than everything else in this.
I mean, it's bad writing in general for the movie, but that was good. That was a good line.
So Phil's setting up his TV in his house that he got the big satellite for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just ridiculous size. It's really funny.
Right.
And as he's doing it, Chip walks in, right? And the Chip has it, and he goes, we must neutralize these things. And he notices that they're drinking. It's him and his wife. And then he gets an idea, and he goes, chemical warfare.
They drug
Operation Sandman.
Oh my God, they drug these people.
So they go crush up they go get sleeping pills, and they catapult them into their drinks.
Like full pills.
Full pills. Just catapult them into their drinks.
And these people drink full pills.
No, they like the drinks, like they sizzle like Altoids, and they drink like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes sense.
So they pass out. The mom passes out immediately. The dad, like he starts drinking his, and they make their way upstairs. And as they do, the little brother comes outside, and they freeze, right? And he goes, wow, they got me the whole set. And he freaks out, and he grabs the leader, and he goes, you're the leader. He's like, but you get shot. Pew, pew. And he sets him down, and he goes, and then now you're going to be the leader. And then it shows the Chip's face, and he's like pissed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it cuts back to the one he's holding, and he's looking at him, and he goes, wasn't my idea, Major. Like he said, but he's just like so concerned.
Yeah.
And then he goes, commandos, attack. And then the next thing, like the little boy is like all tied up, and he's like gagged. And he goes, Chip Hazard's on top of him, and he goes, son, you can be a prisoner or a casualty. What's the choice going to be?
Oh, God.
And the kid's like looking at him like,
yeah, just scarred for life.
You know? So they close him in a closet, and they go, Sarge, you want to take a look at this? And then some sexy music starts playing, like vaudeville, like wow, wow, like that kind of shit, like vaudeville kind of shit. You know? And they pan up and they show all the Gwendy dolls. Right?
That's
so
funny.
They show all the Gwendy dolls, and then all the soldiers are like, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Like, what a bombshell. You know what I mean? They're all saying like a lot of wild shit.
Horn dog stuff.
And then Chip goes, gentlemen, meet our new army. And he goes, and they're like, what? And he goes, bring me the head of Nick Nitro. And then they bring him the head of the guy that died, and he rips off the skin, and he rips open the head, and he takes the chip out, and he hooks it to that thing that you put your hand on, and then electricity comes to it.
Yeah.
He hooks it on that. And then they build an entire lab, and they hook up all the Gwendolyn dolls to these lab things, to these chips, and they Frankenstein these things to life. Literally, there's a scene while they're making them go live where they go, it's alive! It's alive!
Yo, this is dope. What? But it just, okay, now I'm interested because it just enhances your programming. So what's the Gwendolyn dolls programming?
So the Gwendolyn dolls are now programmed they have Nick Nitro's programming.
Oh, they have Nick Nitro's programming.
That's the chip that they installed.
So they're like these warrior
They turn
girls.
into war dolls.
Yeah.
And so after he makes them, one jumps down, and she's like, cannon fodder Gwendy, reporting for duty, sir. And he's like, at ease, soldier. And then like they all fall in line, and they all look psycho now.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
the next scene, Alan is talking to Archer, and they're talking about the wind, right? And about how he doesn't feel it. And he's like, oh, that's because you're plastic. And he's like, oh, well, how come I can't feel it? And he's like, oh, just because, you don't see things don't mean they don't exist, And Archer's like, oh, okay. And her boyfriend, it shows the next scene, her boyfriend is dropping off Kirsten Dunst, the motorcycle guy. And he's trying to get upstairs, but it doesn't work. She's like, nah, it's not happening, not happening. Yeah. And then they kiss, and she goes inside, and she opens the closet to like throw like her jacket, and her brother's in there, but she doesn't notice him. She just throws the jacket on top of him.
Right.
And she sees her parents sleeping, and she walks upstairs, right? And then outside, the guy is like debating outside the door, like, oh man, maybe I'll say like my motorcycle went down, or I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like debating how to get in the house still.
How to get back in, right? He's planning. He's
trying to figure out how to get some pussy.
Right. Classic move.
She goes upstairs. She cuts on her light. It's not working. She's trying to figure things out. God. And then she slowly realizes, because all her dolls are kind of around her, that they're all like alive and they all have like war clothes and war paint on and they look like soldiers now.
Yeah.
You know? And then one of them goes, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." And then they just start attacking her.
Like kicking her or like with weapons?
Pinning her down, tying her up.
Oh, God. That's so scary.
It's really intense.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Now it's our turn to play with you. Let's see if her head comes off, girls." You know, like they're saying all this psycho shit as they're like tying her up and shit.
Yeah.
So the boyfriend guy, he hears her, right? And he runs upstairs and he like sees her and he freaks out. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then they all jump on him, right?
Yeah.
And they start like trying to attack him and he starts throwing them off one by one. And then you hear Chip Hazard go, "Hey, maggot." He goes, "An officer and a gentleman never hits a lady." And then they shoot him with a flamethrower. Ehsan, I don't know if you heard me. You make eye contact, please.
No.
They shoot him with a flamethrower.
So he just catches on fire
Yes.
and dies?
No. His pants catch on fire and then like he runs downstairs, falls downstairs and like takes his pants off.
Okay, thank God.
You know what I mean? But
Thank
he would have
God.
died.
Thank God. My God. I was like, oh, man, he doesn't deserve the Fonz? They killed the Fonz?
So he runs out the house screaming, right?
Yeah,
And
pantsless.
Yeah.
Not Fonz. All Fonz down.
Fonz down.
Yeah.
The Chip Hazard character walks up to Kirsten Dunst and she's tied up and gagged, right, on the floor. And he whispers in her ear, "You scared?" "We're all scared."
What does that mean?
"You'd have to be crazy not to be scared."
Oh, Jesus.
And then she just looks at him.
Like, oh, my God.
And then it pans to the next scene. Like,
Oh, my God.
It's just horrifying.
Yeah.
So
Also, doesn't make sense, but I think the horrifyingness of it.
it's just he's whispering.
Yeah.
So the Gorgonite with one eye is like looking across the window and they're like asking him like, "Hey, what do you see?" And then as he's looking, a fucking like arrow goes by him and like a VHS tape is connected to it.
Yeah.
Right? So they pop in the tape.
Is this like an Al Qaeda video? Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a hostage tape.
Yeah.
So she's all tied up.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Alan, I am unharmed in making this video under my own free will, under no duress." "Yeah, right." And she's like clearly tied up with like, and they like hit her.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Say it right."
Yeah.
And she's like, I will release safety and unharmed under if these conditions are met. All Gorgonites must die." And that's it.
I love it. You're not confused on what they want.
Yeah. And then the tape ends, right? And then
Yeah.
the one monster, like right when the tape ends, the one monster goes, "Ah, boo, what else is on?" Right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, "If a war's what you want, a war's what we're going to give them." That's what the Allen kid says.
What? What? How are you not thrown off by these sentient toys?
He's still not thrown off yet.
What's wrong with you?
So he drops off a box.
He's a sociopath.
It says Gorgonites on the box, right?
Right.
And inside the box you hear, "Alan, no, we're your friends. Don't do this, Alan. Please, Alan," right? And they drop off the box at the front, and then Chip tells him to advance on the box, but with caution.
Right.
It's like, but envelop it, right? And so Alan sneaks around the back, and he has Archer tied to a rocket. And he's like, "Archer, are you sure you want to do this?" And Archer goes, and he shoots off the rocket, and Archer eventually goes up, and then he jumps off the rocket at a certain point and parachutes down onto the house.
That's dope. That's a good scene.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Does he ever use his bow and arrow, or he just has it?
He just has it.
Okay. Again, diminishing the werewolf skills and then not using the bow and arrow.
No, he does use it, but we'll get there.
Okay.
I forgot. Oh, my, look at me.
Yeah,
So-
fuck you.
Alan sneaks into Kirsten's parents' house, right?
Right.
And they're still knocked out on the couch.
Right.
And the commandos had put dynamite in the box. Like, right? So they're like in the box that
to blow it
Gorgonites-
up.
To blow it up.
Yeah.
And they start like attacking so that he runs upstairs, right? And they start attacking him, the Gwendolyn dolls.
Gwendolyn dolls.
And Archer, while they're doing that, Archer sets the homegirl free.
Right.
And when she gets her free, she gets a baton and just starts killing them. She's whacking them all. Just whacking them and whacking them and whacking them, right? Just
Yeah.
killing them like whack-a-mole. So the commandos, the box blows up outside, and the commandos notice, obviously, that it was a tape recorder in there.
Right.
And they're like, where are they? What's going on? And then upstairs, they keep killing girl dolls, girl dolls, and she's smashing and smashing, and she stops and she's like she finally because she smashed them all to pieces. Now she's like over smashing, and he stops her, and then she's like, hey, we got him. And she's like, you rescued me, and then she kisses him.
Okay.
And she goes, let's go get my parents. And they run downstairs, right? And they sneak out the window, and he's like, wow, you've done this before. And she's like, not my first time. They're flirting.
How are they not talking about the fact that these things are alive? How has that not come up as a conversation starter?
So,
all right, they're flirting.
They sneak out, and as they sneak out, they hear a chainsaw, right? They're running out the front of the house. They hear a chainsaw in the garage. And then you hear, war, yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Sing it again. Wow! And then the garage blows up.
Yeah.
And all the toys bust out on like these little mopeds. And they start shooting like nail guns and like little guns that shoot like little discs at them at like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, so to kill them.
Yeah. So the Kirsten girl runs and goes and gets a scooter, right?
Right.
And she gets the homeboy scooter and she pulls it off in front of him and they shoot him with like corn on the cob things.
Corn on the cob things?
You ever eat a corn on the cob?
Yes.
You know, on the end of it, there's like little stickers. It's like 2 little prongs and they go in like that so you can hold it.
Okay, no, I've never eaten corn like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess maybe, I don't know if it's a black, but yeah, they use those
and
they shoot him with them. Like they hit like 4 of them in his leg.
Oh my God. So he's like bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's pulling those out and then she pulls up on the scooter and she's like, get on, you know? And the commandos start following him. And now we have a chase scene going on.
It's dope.
So they're on the scooters and the commandos are following them on these little go-karts.
Yeah.
And they're still shooting and trying to hit the tires with the chainsaw. You know what I mean?
Right.
At one point, the commandos, like they're shooting with like the flamethrower. At one point, Chip Hazard shoots a rocket and it knocks down a tree. And they dodge the tree.
Yeah.
And then he shoots another rocket and it hits a telephone pole. And then they have to jump the scooter over a big hill. And they jump it over a hill. And then the commandos, like they link their like things up like a transformer to like go faster.
Yeah.
And then they try to jump over it as well and they don't make it. And they blow up and they land. They all explode. And you hear them screaming to death, right? They all die.
All the commandos? Oh, Jesus.
And you see Chip and he's floating down the river.
Right.
Right, the Chip one. The Chip has one. He's just floating down the river.
Right.
Okay. So when they get back to the house, all the parents are on the front steps and they're now arguing. They're screaming at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Who did it? Blah, 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 blah. You know? And so they cut back to Chip, right? And he's waking up. And he wakes up outside the Commando Elite factory.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
And he says, we may have lost the battle. We will not lose this war.
Oh my God. This is crazy.
So it shows Joe, the truck driver from earlier, and he's driving. He's about to get in the car, and he's getting his, he's got a shipment, and he's getting in the car to drive off.
Yeah.
And right then, Chip hops in front of him and like holds a knife to his neck.
Jesus.
And he goes, "You've been drafted." Also, by the way, he's got like one eye now. Like one of his eyes goes. So now he looks like a crazy psycho toy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
As opposed to the normal, well-adjusted toy.
Normal, well-adjusted toy he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more like Buzz Lightyear now.
Okay.
So Phil,
I don't think that tracks, but whatever.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I really don't.
Phil goes off.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea of him being a bad. He's an asshole for a little bit. Some of it.
No, he's just
actually Woody's an asshole.
He's confident. He's confident. Doesn't know what's happening. Woody's an asshole who's afraid of change.
Phil's going off in the living room.
All right.
He's going off about this, that, and this is nonsense, and these toys aren't special, and just because they can move a little bit doesn't mean they're alive.
Even though they tied up your son. They don't even know where the son is yet.
Right? So they go to leave, and
he's like, hey, where's my son? Not these toys. Yeah, okay.
He goes to leave, they open the door, and Jay Moore and David Cross are outside.
Right.
And they go, hey, we were here, we got a voicemail, we're just trying to find out who sent it to us about the toys. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we sent you that. And then Alan runs up. He's like, yeah, the commandos, they're killing everybody. There's something wrong with them. There's something going on. And he goes, hey, and then the Jay Moore goes, hey, just know, kid, anything you say about the commandos can and will be used against you in the court of law. And then right then the dad punches Jay Moore in the face.
Yeah.
Just knocks him out. He goes, your toys almost killed my son. Right?
Now he finally believes him.
Now he's a dad.
Yeah.
So Cross notices the Gorgonites for the first time, and he runs over in joy, and he's like, "Oh my God, the Gorgonites, Archer, and all these people!" And he's like, "Wow, you guys are finally here," you know. And then he looks outside and he goes, "Why is there a Heartland truck outside?" Right? And they notice a little more, and they notice a small, full-on army of toys running towards them, like, hut, 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 you know, like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God!" And then they notice the Chip one, right? And then they're like, oh, "I thought we killed Chip." And then the Kirsten Dunst goes, "We didn't kill him enough." And so Chip is talking on a megaphone outside, and he is talking outlandish shit.
Yeah.
Like, "Men, they started this war, but we're damn sure gonna finish it." Like, he's just saying shit on this megaphone, right?
Yeah.
So Phil's like, "I'm sick of this. I'm going outside." And he goes outside with a white flag. And he's like, "I'm here to surrender the Gorgonzolas. You can have them." And he's like, we don't want any war. We just want this to be over." And then he notices his speakers, and he goes, "Hey, are those my JVC speakers?" And he runs up and he throws a towel over him, and he's like, "Why are my speakers out here?" Right?
That's funny.
And
that's why he joins us for. All right.
he goes, "Why are my speakers out here?" And then they go, they say, "Negotiations are over," right? He's like, on the mega, he says, "Negotiations are now over. We count 16 hostiles, and we plan to eliminate all of you." And then they're inside, and they go, "It's only 9 of us. 16? No," they go, "It's only 9 Gorgonites. What does he mean 16? And then they go, "It's 7 of us." And they're like, "Oh no," right?
Shit.
And then they realize, and then they look back outside, and then Chip goes, "We are the Commando Elite. Everything else is just a toy." And they hit the music. "Now tell me what I want, what you really, really want. No, tell me what I want, what you really, really want. You know what I want, I really, 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 what I really, really want." And the fight breaks out
That's amazing.
to that song.
That's amazing. Did not see that coming.
"If you want to be my lover." And so, like, they show all the neighbors, and all the neighbors are like, "Phil, God damn it, Phil," because they're thinking it's just Phil playing his music,
Right.
You know, and they're all like, "Ah," you know. And then it cuts back to Phil's wife, who's still kind of coming to, and she goes, "Phil, Phil," and he goes, "What?" She goes, "I love this song." So they start shooting nails through the window, like AK-47 style, just nails, right?
Yeah.
At like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They're just shooting them. They're shooting fire tennis balls through the window, so the house is catching on fire. They're shooting tennis balls through the window. So the mom, Alan's
These are effective ass
Dude, they're
soldiers.
wild shit.
Yeah.
The mom's like starts telling everybody what to do. Like, "Oh, you guys go here, you guys go here, you guys go here, and we got to fight these things." And then she grabs a tennis racket and she starts hitting the tennis balls back at them.
That's funny.
Just setting the neighborhood on fire, by the way. The neighborhood is now on fire.
Yeah.
Just on fire.
Yeah.
She's hitting it back, and he goes, "Nice forearm, honey," you know? And then the one dad's like, "We have to stop these guys before my wife gets tennis elbow." So Cross says how they need a big magnetic shock. That's the only way to stop them. You gotta have a big magnetic shock. And they're like on a warhead. And then the guy goes, "Why would that stop them?" He goes, "Well, these chips aren't shielded against magnetic pulses. That's why the military didn't want to use them." And he goes, "Who put military grade chips in a goddamn toy?" And then David Cross is like, "That'd be Gizmo over here." Because that's a callback, kids.
Yeah. Even though if they were to look through the computer, it would be his. So he would be in trouble for it.
Oh, he would have gotten in trouble for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, fuck you, David Cross.
Archer notices the phone poles, and he points up and he tells Addison, "Alan, those will work," you know? And then he goes, "Way to stay heads up, Archer." And then Alan runs in asking them if the power poles would work. And then Phil's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've seen those things." He's like, before they burst, like before they explode, they get a really crazy power boost." And they all look at him, and he goes, "It only happened once." And then they're all like rolling their eyes at him, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Phil, you idiot."
Yeah.
You know? So the mom hits a tennis ball literally right back at the one shooting tennis balls, and it just blows up. Fire everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Just the neighborhood is just a war zone.
Yeah. So the dad Alan tells the dad, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna go up to the power pole and I'm gonna kill all these toys." And the dad's like, "No, you can't do this." And he's like, "Dad, I can do it. I promise I can do it." He goes, "No, son, you're my responsibility. You're not going up there." He goes, "Dad, there's no other way. You just have to trust me." And he's like, "All right, son. I'll follow you on this one," or some shit like that.
Everyone, this whole movie could have been solved if no one just yielded to this whiny kid.
Yeah, the kid sucks.
Yeah.
So Chip Hazard is now on a helicopter.
Right.
A toy helicopter
That's funny.
that shoots rockets. So it's shooting rockets and it's chasing the parents through the house.
That's
shooting rockets at them.
That's funny.
Rockets.
And these little explosions happening.
Explosions happening through the house. Just houses getting torn apart, right?
Yeah.
So Archer is just causing all kinds of crazy damage to the house, and Archer is just watching, right? And he's had enough. And he goes, Gorgonites, we must help Alan. And they go, but we don't fight, we hide. We can't fight. There's no way we can. He's like, even if we hide, we lose. No more hiding, Gorgonites. And they're all like, yeah! And then they all bust out and they start fighting. And they start beating up the commandos, right?
Oh,
and
shit.
helping. You know what I mean? They're just they're kicking ass now. You know what I mean?
He's using the bow and arrow?
Not yet.
Oh, that's like a scene.
So Cross, Moore, and Dunst run over back to her house and they cut on all their electronics so the power will blow up harder when they blow it up, right?
Right.
And so they're cutting all on our electronics, and then it cuts back to Chip, and he's shooting at Alan, who's on the phone pole now. He's shooting the rockets at him, and Alan's kind of dodging.
Yeah.
Right?
On a phone pole.
On a phone pole.
Right.
Way up.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy high, dog. Okay? So the Gorgonites steal the gun that's shooting the nails, and they shoot down his chopper.
That's dope.
And as they shoot down his chopper, he jumps onto the phone pole, right?
Ooh.
And he stabs Alan's hand, and Alan almost falls off the phone pole. And then, and Alan's like, and he's holding on, and he goes, expect no mercy. That's what he's yelling at him.
Yeah.
And then right then, Archer takes out his arrow, and he shoots his bow and arrow.
There it is.
Yep. And it goes over the phone pole, and somebody catches it, and they use a spinning thing, and it flings him up. And he goes, Chip Hazard, your fights with me. Leave Alan out of this, And he goes, you got guts. Now let's see what they look like. And they start fighting.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? And then as they start fighting, Archer goes, my guts are metal and wires like your guts. And then the guy goes, no, they're not. And they keep fighting. And this is the dialogue.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this is the dialogue.
Yeah.
And they're fighting. And then he finally kicks Archer off the phone pole, right? And then Alan gets pissed and he's like, and he grabs him and he goes, you stupid toy. And he shoves him in between the power poles and they go, and they start electrocuting and it blows him and he falls. It blows him off the power pole and he falls off. And it definitely would have killed him, right?
Yeah, 100%.
100% would have killed him.
Sticking something
or paralyzed him at least.
Sticking something to a live power line will immediately kill you.
Yeah. This was not a good movie for kids.
But to be fair, it's not like at this point I would be like, well, where's the realism? I don't think this is the point of the movie to do that. I think that ship has sailed.
So
that ship is broken, hanging up in a toy shop somewhere.
Yeah. Kirsten comes by on a lawnmower and it's killing all the toys, right? All the soldiers still. And she's like, get on. And he gets on. And then finally the electric surge powers up enough and it explodes. And then all the toys spaz out and start blowing up, just passing out. And then it shows the Chip Hazard character and he finally dies going there will be no mercy, she. And he dies.
Right.
So the next morning, cut to immediately.
Right.
That's how it ends.
Okay.
Next morning, everything's getting cleaned up. Police, fire trucks, the houses are all fucked up, neighborhood's fucked up, everybody's there, right? The chopper from the beginning, you see that? It comes into land, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Leary gets out and immediately starts talking to the Joe guy who drives the truck. And he's like, hey, can you mind getting that goddamn Heartland truck out of here before the news crews get here? And he's like, I would, but you see, my neck and my back, I don't know if I can drive the truck under these circumstances. And then right in the middle of that, his assistant writes him a check and then he hands it to her. And he goes, right away, sir, I'll move it immediately. And he goes off. And then right then Phil comes up and he's yelling, he's like, hey, what about my house? How do you think you're gonna handle my house? And then writes him a check and he's like, oh, thank you, sir. And he runs off. And then Alan's dad comes up and he's like, what? Well, I don't think you're gonna be able to write a check off for me. The emotional damage, the physical damage, you don't have enough money to write a check. And then he gives him a check and he's like, whoa, I guess you do have enough money.
You know what? Thank God this movie is so ridiculous in premise. Otherwise, I think this writing and probably this acting isn't very good.
Oh yeah, no.
If I had to guess,
the movie keeps you going through it because you're just constantly
that's crazy. This is an idea that someone had.
So Jay Moore comes up and takes full responsibility for everything, and he apologizes to the guy,
like people do normally when they fuck up. They're like, "It's my bad.
It's my fault."
Yeah.
And he goes, all Dennis Leary character says, "How much were you selling them for?" And then David Cross goes, $75. And Daniel Series pauses and he goes, add a couple zeros to that, sell it to the military. I know a couple people in South America would love to get an investment on a toy like this.
It's already in the military.
That's what he said.
How are you going to sell it back to them? They sold it to you.
Sell it back?
For more money.
Because now they know, I guess now that they had to make it a toy so they could find out that it's a war weapon.
Yeah, but the military already knows it's... Okay, you know what? Don't break down this movie. Just let it happen. Don't break down this movie.
He knew some people in South America, bro.
Okay. And is that the movie?
No, he gets back on the chopper, right? And he looks back and he takes his glasses off and he goes, too bad. This would have made one hell of a commercial. And then he gets back on his chopper and he leaves. As Alan is cleaning up, he sees Archer's arrow and he gets excited and he's like, starts looking around and then he notices the big satellite that Phil had, right?
Right.
Because it had fell. And he lifts it up and all the Gorgonites are under it.
And are they still moving around?
And he's like, he freaks out and he grabs Archer and he's like, Archer, are you alive? He goes, halt, who goes there? And then Archer goes, I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites. I am Archer, emissary of the I am, like freaking out. He goes, oh, damn it, you're fried too. And then Archer like looks at him and goes, are the commandos dead? And he goes, Archer, you're alive. And he hugs him. He goes, yeah, the commandos are dead. And he goes, Gorgonites, we are free. And they're all like, yeah. The next scene, they're in the middle of the woods and they're on that big boat from earlier.
Yeah.
And he goes, Archer, are you sure you want to do this? And he goes, Archer looks and they're all on a boat and they're in the water, like in this river in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Archer goes, yes, Alan, it is time. And he goes, Archer, I got to tell you this. There is no Gorgon. It's not, I don't think it exists. And then he goes, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real.
Full circle.
Yep. Bye, Alan. And then everyone goes, bye, Alan. Bye, Alan. And then the big dumb one, bye, Alan. And then they all he pushes them and they all sail off and they're all waving. And then big grand music starts playing right as it pans back. And then it keeps panning back. And then you hear the dumb one go, I hope we don't hit an iceberg.
Because the movie learned about ends. Titanic. Ugh.
Small soldiers, you motherfuckers.
What the fuck was that movie? I'm excited to watch this though.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun. I had a great time. I did not have a bad time watching it this morning.
I can't imagine it being I can't imagine it being like boring.
It's everything you want and a little bit more.
Also, who was this marketed to? Who was their target audience? The fuck?
I don't know, bro.
What adults are gonna watch? What adults are really gonna watch kids fight? Not kids. These things fight like that.
Yeah, that movie was for no one.
Yeah, but it's clearly not marketed. I mean, a bunch of kids watched it, I assume.
Oh yeah, I've seen it a million times.
Yeah. But it's not,
our engineer's seen it a million times as well.
But it's not necessarily marketed to kids.
Yeah.
I was like, you could, I don't know. What?
Thank you guys for listening, man. We love you. We appreciate it. We really do. Virginia, you're the shit. France.
Everyone else, they're also the shit, but I'm just confused. I'm still confused. I'm just, you know what? We're done.
Our matriarch, Samantha, thank you for everything you do.
We're done.